Welcome back to another episode of GAMER-0 where we spread that gaming truth like a virus. I'm your host, T-Hill. So, you've seen I just did Resistance 3's review. Now I'm going to do Dead Islands. So, Dead Island. If you guys don't know, if you haven't been up on the game, you don't really know what's going on with it. The premise behind it is you pick one of four characters, either two male, two female, and you have just had a party night, and you wake up drunken in your hotel room in this really nice, lavish island resort, and all shit's gone to hell. Zombies are everywhere, and you're trying to get out of there. There's more to the plot than that. Is it the most detailed, capturing plot that's going to leave you gripped for the next 10 years? No. Is it a good plot for a zombie game? Yes. Are there some emotional moments? Yes, there are. There's one character, Jin, you come across that she has some touching moments, and if you don't feel that, that's to each his own. But I do feel that they did pluck some heartstrings really well. But the overall story was a little thin, not bad, but it was cohesive for the game. But it's a zombie game. What do you expect? So, story side, let's get into the graphics and the art direction of the game. Art direction is something I really want to touch on, and the sense of scale and kind of the purpose of the game, the feel. Perfect. Every single set piece is captured with so much organic nature and immersive feel that when you're in the city, you feel like you're in a really just jacked up city, kind of like what you saw in the Resident Evil movies, the first two, or the second one actually, where everyone's coming at you and there's nothing you can do, or even in the last, was it Afterlife, I think it was, where everything's just kind of falling apart, society's gone. The beach resort feels like it's a beach resort. They want to keep it nice and happy and sunny, but yeah, they're zombies. So that first part is really beautiful. The water, everything's really nice. The engine and the way they capture the art, really, really well. The city, the jungle, the prison, the sewers, phenomenal set pieces. I cannot stress enough. You always feel, the city, I want to say this and I want to make it very clear. You feel like your back's always in the wall. You're running down hallways or alleyways and zombies are coming out of everywhere. And it is so capturing. Like the lighting, it changes from night to day. It's raining or it's sunny, but it captured that gloomy, eerie atmosphere so well with that art direction. The jungle, beautiful. The sense of verticality, when you're going up or down, you really feel like you're scaling or like traveling down. Their places are so large that it is really amazing. I very rarely do I come across a game with set pieces that are this amazing. I mean, I cannot stress. You can explore these places forever and ever. Like, I thought I covered everywhere, and there was still like 6% of the world that I didn't even go to. And I was spent 30-something hours in before completion. 31 hours is what I think it took me to beat the game. And I did all but maybe 4 or 5 of the side quests. But there's so much world, and it looks so well that you will be traveling this forever. It is a big place. You can have a blast in these amazingly depicted set pieces. Now, the character models, you don't really pay attention to so much. They're not stellar. I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're not like the top-notch character models. They are not going to like leave a spark in you like, holy shit, this is on a game. That is not the case with the character models. Another thing, the gripes I have with the graphical side, the art direction, I tell you, I can't stress it, is of the top tier set pieces ever in gaming. Now, with that said, there are some technical hiccups that need to be talked about. The frame rate is all over the place. When it's running beautifully, the frame rate and the set pieces looks like a work of art. When it's not working well, oh dear God, I had the frame drop so low, zombies were looking like they were teleporting on my ass from one area to another. I'm not gonna lie, there were parts where it was not cool. Screen tearing, frequent. Keep in mind, I do have a PlayStation Fat. I have one of the Fat models, the 60 gig, which is upgraded, but whatever. So that could play a part, that could make it worse than what it normally is. There's also texture load-in, which is, it's not bad, but it takes a while. Usually if you sit for a second, it will load in. None of the weapons have all that shine or whatever, but the art direction for the weapons is cool. So when you're modding, and I'll get into the modding a little bit more in the gameplay, but when you get a weapon, you upgrade it, you mod it, whatever, its aesthetics change. So if you get like a club and you hook a battery to it, and I don't know if this is an option, I've done like 20 different mods, mainly with electrical. But say if you get a sword and you put a battery and you wrap some tape around it and some wires, you'll see all that on your sword. So that's really cool. It changes the aesthetic appearance, and you get the electricity going off of it. And you can do like poison ones, but each time you mod it, it changes the appearance, which is really nice. Are they highly detailed pieces? No, they're not kill zone set piece gun pieces. It's not at that level. And if you're expecting that, it's not what you're really in there. But when you slash the shit out of somebody, blood's all over the place. So you stab or shoot somebody, blood goes everywhere, head goes up, which is another piece I want to talk about, which kind of goes into the gameplay. But you can slice the hell out of anybody. Slice off chunks of their gut, their legs, their arms, their head. So that's some pretty cool stuff. You can slice them in half, bash in their head with a bat. All that really, everything for the immersive side is great. It breaks down with the technical side, with the frame rate drops, the screen tearing, the texture load in. I'm not overly concerned with the faces are kind of like Dragon Age, or Fallout or Skyrim, where they're very stiff. It's an open world game, sandbox open world game. So don't expect Uncharted level or Gears facial animations. Let's get this out of the way. Gameplay. Aside from the set pieces that are a top tier, the gameplay is quite possibly the most addictive game I've played this generation. You do side quests, not even for the obligation of doing side quests, but because you get drawn into it. Once you start playing the world, and you start getting into the groove of it, you get caught up into it. You've got the melee weapons. There are some pistols and rifles and shotguns and stuff that you get, but they're not the main focus. Everything can be leveled up. Everything can be upgraded, for the most part. There are a couple exceptions to that, but you're always on like a Pokemon, gotta catch them all, find the better. So even if you find a pistol or a machete, you can find a better version of it. Even if I get a katana and you get the same katana, our stats are going to be different because there's different levels requirements. So there's always this need to play through it again and find something better, and find something better, and find something better. There's that. Plus the side quests, while not the most gripping, of course, in the story, but they always have a good incentive, and you're always in the meat of combat. Always. You never feel like a really, really badass, but you can hold your own. But there are places, like in the city, there's one spot in the city where it doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter how many people you're rolling with, you will always be dying left and right. That is one constant in this game. You will die a lot. And it is just so frenzy-filled. You feel like you were really in a zombie apocalypse. And I cannot stress that. I cannot even say that enough. That it is so catching to be in that world. And yeah, you use your kicking a lot. There's punching. Platforming is a minimum. But there's like an upgrade trees for like survival and I forgot what the other two are. One of them's survival, one of them's combat, I think, and the other one's like long range, is really focusing on long range. And you don't have to go down one tree all the way or the other. You can mix and match. and level each one up, so that way you're more focused on like combat, or more focused on survival, or more focused on long range. There's a good variety, and even if we pick the same character when we play the same game, our playthrough is going to be very different. It's very unlikely that we're going to have the same setup. Online play. So while I'm playing, I can either invite you into my game, you can invite me into your game, or you can set it to like just show all, so as I'm walking around I can pop into your world or have you come into my world at any one point in time. And it actually picks up the difficulty. The more people you have, there's more zombies, they're more aggressive. It's a really, really stellar gameplay experience. Sound. Holy shit. It's been years since I've been creeped out to this degree where I'm inching around corners. When I'm going through the city, caution is always, Spidey senses are going alert. I cannot believe Spidey senses are going crazy. Because you're fearful for every turn. It's not just run and gun. Sometimes you can see areas where there's zombies littered out, and you know how they're going to get you, and your goal is to just run, make it through, get through. And the noise from all of it, the sound of your footsteps, the sound of your kicking, when you hear them, they're so quiet that you can't sometimes hear them coming from you unless they're a runner. And then you'll hear them scream and they'll take off, but the noise is so eerie. The slashing, the sound of like you gashing into them is just so well depicted that it leaves a very clear sound in your head. I cannot. The sound design is of the top caliber. I love the sound design, especially when you're in the sewers and the eerie background noise, plus the sound of the zombies in the distance. You're in the dark. You got to go by flashlight. So every little sound you tune in on, you're just constantly waiting to hear the next noise. So that is amazing. The voice acting, it's decent. It's decent. Replayability, it's the most addictive game I've played this generation. Co-op, massive hours. I can't even stress that enough. I'm really, plus the whole Pokemon, gotta catch them all. There's tons of side quests. It's a huge world, do anything, and you can run through it as many times as the zombies respawn. Massive replayability, massive. So if I have to give this a score, I wanted to give it a 5, and that's why I've taken a couple days to really digest on it. But in all reality, I cannot ignore the graphical hiccups. Screen tearing, bad. Frame rate, all over the place. Load-ins, they're bad. Those three things are so constant and so frequent. I'm hoping patches in the future fix these issues. If they do, I can come back and re-review it based on that. But as it stands, I gotta give this. I wouldn't be doing due diligence if I give it anything above a 4 out of 5. It is definitely, as it stands, on the cusp of being a 5 out of 5. But those issues are so apparent that I wouldn't be doing justice by ignoring them. So 4 out of 5 bad. 4 out of 5 badasses. I was gonna say something else. For Dead Island. Hope you guys enjoyed. You know, as always, you can follow me on hiphopgamershow.com. On Twitter, it's T_Hill0. Or if you want to game with me on PSN, it's T-O. Alright, I'm out. Peace.